you guys are ready to go see our first painting. This is our first painting, titled Liberty Over the People. It was painted in 1830 by Eugene Delacroix. It was during the French Revolution. As we can take a zoom in here, we can start seeing some of the major impacts. The painting was significant because it represented the July Revolution of 1830 in France. It was made in the Romanticism art period and can be seen through the use of imagination of drawing the scene that have never actually happened and adding liberty, as you can see here. There are many different forms of symbolism within this painting, such as the Liberty Woman, who is bare and running through the picture. She stands for the people who died fighting for the change in the government. She is also raised slightly to show that liberty is on top of the pyramid, and the most important part of the fighting spirit of the French people, who are shown within the painting are a diverse group. The color scheme with the painting is also a symbol because the colors that stand out are red, white, and blue, the colors of the French flag. Those colors are used throughout the painting in order to highlight distinct features throughout the painting, such as the different classes of people, as you can see here and here. The whole meaning behind the painting is to represent all different types of classes of the people that fought during the change and liberty in order to win the French Revolution. Are you guys ready to go and see the next painting? Let's go to the next room. You guys ready to come and look at the second painting? Come on. So right here, we have a wonderful piece of painting, which is called The Scream. This painting was done by Edvard Munch in Norway in 1893. And now, as we take a closer look within this painting, we were able to see a lot of the details during his time period. He was able to create such an image with the use of tempera and crayons, and it's also done on cardboard, which is surprising. This art was not instantly significant, but grew significance over time. There are 4 copies of this version of art. 2 of them, however, including the original, were stolen but have since been returned. Edvard completed most of his artworks in the symbolist time period. But many say this is the first expressionist piece because of his use of physical expression on the person's face as the main point of the painting, as we can see right here with the scream that he is having. The picture has many different symbolistic ideas. I believe that this is Edvard himself standing there screaming. He was mentally unstable due to all the negative family health issues that he had to live with, especially with the most recent one, where his sister was introduced into a mental hospital. The darker blue colors are used to create the sadness or upsetting feelings being pulled from the screen. Also, the red colors within the sunset remind him of the fire and the feeling of all the pain that he has suffered. Though the meaning has been debated, I believe it is showing his pain and suffering, and sometimes the only way to feel better is to let loose and scream until you physically can. Now, if you guys are ready, we are going to step on out and go to our third painting. So now this is our third piece here. This one is called Saturn Devouring His Children. Francisco Goya painted this in 1821 to 1823 in his home in Madrid. It was on the wall, but since then, the oils and part of the wall have been traded onto a canvas for use for storage, and so that more people can look at this wonderful piece of art. As we take a closer look in here, we can see that this image was significant because of the torment that had been going on in Spain. First with the Napoleonic Wars, and then with the Spanish government being reformed, creating chaos, death, destruction throughout the entire country. With all these negative images, it created a power struggle, such as the legend about the god of Saturn. His painting was in the Romanticism period of the art movement, which can be seen by the fact that Goya used his own inspiration to make this connection and drew Saturn out of his own imagination. There are many points of symbolism within this painting. One of the major symbolism is that the god of Saturn is eating his own son in order to keep power, which the Spanish government at the same time was rebelling and killing off Spanish citizens in order to retain the power. Also, looking at his face, you can see the sadness and concern right in here as he eats his own child. He knows that it's wrong, just as the Spanish government did, but he has to eat his children in order to avoid his fate, which would be that one of his sons would overtake him. The dark colors are used to bring out the horror and the vulgarity in the image, as well as make Saturn and his disfigurement stand out, as you can see here and especially in his legs. Finally, I believe the overall meaning to this painting is that sometimes you have to do what's wrong in order to hold on to what you want or have. But at the end of the day, fate has already been decided. Now, let's move on to our fourth painting. This is our fourth painting, called Starry Night. This was painted by Vincent van Gogh in June of 1889. He painted this in an asylum he was staying at Saint Remy in France. As we take a closer look in here, we can start by seeing that the painting was significant because it started to make the move into the post-impressionism due to its use of bright colors, especially in the sky, as you see here. In real life, and also in real life pictures with more depth. One use of symbolism is a cypress tree you can see over here. Van Gogh places the living creature in a graveyard because cypress trees are known to be in graveyards, to show that there is hope and even with death. Bringing slighter brightening greens into the scene helps make the tree pop. Likewise, the sky is what really grabs everyone's eye. The use of bright yellow and white swirls are so bright, but then he uses darker blues to contrast it out. The symbolism that is that even in darkness you can always see light. The panic attacks he was suffering from were probably dire, but you have to make the best of an awful situation. Finally, he uses the colors to show that this is a small, quiet town. And the bright colors, especially in the church, to even out the picture so that the flow is not only in the sky. And finally, overall, I believe that the painting is there to help people realize that no matter how dire a situation can be, there can always be light too. Even if you decide to look at things may turn around. Now, we're going to go on to our fifth painting. Here's my fifth painting, with Landscape with Sharon Crossing the Styx by Joachim Patinier, painted from 1515 to 1524. This painting was with oils on a piece of wood. It was a quite large piece, 63 centimeters by 103 centimeters. This painting had significant impacts towards art because he was the first Western artist to paint landscapes, as we can obviously see. He was part of the Northern Renaissance. That is shown by the mixtures between the humanistic Renaissance and the Gothic and medieval techniques, as you can see on this side of the painting. The symbolism within this painting is afterlife and the choice between heaven and hell. The river shows an extended period, as you can see in the back, that there is no land, only water. I believe that this means we continue through life no matter how long our boat ride is. Every decision we get will get us closer to one side or the other. Also, as you continue to look back, the river is getting narrower. Or, as you continue through life, you're getting closer to death, which makes the river narrower. I believe that this painting means that the end of life will crash into either heaven or hell side of the river, depending on how your life was lived. And now we'll go on to our sixth painting. This is our sixth painting, which is titled The Dead Christ, painted by Andre Montega in 1480. This painting was done with tempera on a canvas. Andrea kept it for his personal collection, so there was little significance when it was made because no one knew about it. Furthermore, there is no exact date of completion because it was found after his death by his sons, who sold it off to pay the family debt. The painting was part of the Italian Renaissance, which can be shown through the darker images and cause vulgar image is medieval. The symbolism within this painting is all through the pain and darkness portrayed within the image itself. There is no light or bright colors within the painting because there is no happiness with the death of Christ. As you can see in the distraught of both people kneeling next to him, also there are still holes in his hands and feet that show that this was soon after he finally died. The darkness and especially the shading help make Christ dissimilar and show that there is death within him. I think this picture has no true deep meaning, but shows the ultimate sorrow that his followers went through after his death. And now we'll go on to the seventh piece. This painting is called David Victorious, and it is our seventh one. It was done by Antonio de Paulino in 1472 in Italy. It was made with the use of oils on a piece of wood. This painting had significance when it was made because of the excellent example of the technique of popular panel. The art movement was obviously Renaissance because it is humanistic, and David is linear while being in the center of the picture. The symbolism within this picture is that almost relating back to his life. David is standing over the head of Goliath with a smirk on his face. This smirk can represent his happiness that he has witnessed over his life with the significant sculptures he has been asked to do and completed. He is proud and became one of the best sculptors and painters in Italy, such as David slaying Goliath, who he shouldn't have because of the size. So did Antonio with his engraving of the Battle of Nude Men. The size of that piece was so large that it changed the outcome of sculptures for the rest of Italy. The dark colors behind David truly made him stand out and show that he thinks that there is making of those steps, increasing the sizes of prints would be truly important. That piece that was largest of the time. I think the overall meaning is that you can do something even if the odds are against you, as long as you put your mind into it, such as David. Now let's go on to our eighth piece. This painting is our eighth one, called The Interior of Letter of a Woman Painter. This is done by Marie Victoire Lemoine in 1796 in France. It was made out of simple oils on a canvas. It was very significant when it was made because she was one of the first female artists. She also attended François Coulommiers Monod Salon in Paris, France, as one of the women permitted in 1791. The art movement that she was a part of was the neoclassical movement, which you can see in this painting by how it was similar to the older painting styles. Some examples of these older styles were the symmetry, with the girl drawing the girl on the other side of the easel, and how it was about simple ideas. The symbolism within this art piece has to do with a woman's rights. The image shows Marie taking lessons from another student who was at the salon with her, showing her passion of wanting to learn from anyone. Also, it seems as though on the easel there is a woman praying in front of an altar. Religious women back in those time periods took religion seriously, and if someone was willing to take art that serious, then maybe they become a respected woman artist. It could also symbolize that how hard she had to work in order to get recognized for her talents. The color scheme is fairly basic. The lighter colors, such as the white dress and the light brown, almost goldish dress, make the characters pop. But equally on the other side, the dark curtains and the bench make the light green easel pop out and create symmetry across the picture. I do believe that the overall meaning of this painting is that if you commit your whole life to something, you will become very talented. Now let's go on to the next piece. This ninth piece is called The Holy Family by Barton Eston Murillo, and it was painted in 1670. As we take a closer look to this painting, you can see that there's oil on a canvas. Based on the use of clarity that portrays the drama of the painting, I would say that it is from the Baroque movement. This piece is significant to its time because it shows how Murillo gave his religious figures a lovable charm. In this painting, Mary is holding Jesus as is he about to get baptized by John the Baptist. However, the symbolism of the light in this painting is the fact that the light is around Jesus and is coming from the Father. The dove above Jesus' head could symbolize love, peace, or the messenger. The other symbols in this piece are the cross that Jesus is holding and the lamb at the bottom of the painting. What I think Murillo is trying to say through this painting is that Jesus is sent from heaven and will be the messenger, aka the dove, of the light that is shining around him, and be a shepherd of the men, or the lamb. Furthermore, the color scheme of the painting gives a sense of innocence and pureness that radiates through the figures and light colors. And now let's go on to the 10th and final piece. This 10th and final piece is called Gathering in the Park by Antoine Watteau, which was done in 1721. It was made with the use of oils on a simple canvas. It was significant when it was created because he was the first artist of the new style of Baroque, where the artist would continue to create the overall movement within the painting, but would make it so that it seems more natural and realistic, as you can see from the leaves and the color coming from within the trees. The symbolism within this piece is it can be seen through the tamed environment that I believe. He is referring to how we try to control nature and not allow it to just happen. We try to make everything perfect instead of letting fate take its control, especially through the course of nature, and let it accomplish what it needs to, as evident in how all the people seem well-dressed and all in good moods. The color scheme is very neutral, and the only item within the painting that is truly standout are the ones that are exactly what we, as society, wish for, like with the happy, rich people at the bottom of the painting. I believe the meaning behind this piece is that overall, we as humans try to take control over too much and not allow the intended course of our survival or happiness to just happen. And that is the end to my art exhibit.